David Bay here from MuscularDevelopment.com. We are in Charleston, South Carolina for the 2015 Junior USAs. I'm here with IFBB Pro Steve Misharbish.
There you go.
I got it a little bit better this time. Wrapping up prejudging from the Junior USA is going to start off with the men's bodybuilding. And aside from a few guys, it was, I guess, to try to be as nice as possible, an utter disappointment.
Yes, correct. I felt the same way. I was hoping, I set my hopes high yesterday and was kind of hoping that I would see something a little more than it did. There were a few standouts, but more or less I was a little bit taken back by the quality I was expecting to see.
Yeah, and it was kind of a twofold thing. There was, conditioning is the first thing that we look at that was lacking, but a lot of guys just in the wrong weight classes altogether. A lot of guys who needed to lose a lot of weight that should have been in heavies that were in the supers. A lot of guys that weren't big enough to be in heavyweights that should have been light heavy. Kind of the story. Did want to highlight a couple of guys. We had a lightweight, Brian Degasparis, peeled lightweight competitor, very, very conditioned. So props to him.
Good muscle belly. I was actually very impressed with the way he presented himself. For a light heavy, he came out there and held his ground. From the moment he walked out there, sometimes you talk back and you look at people that do well. The moment they walk out on stage, they capture you, and that's what he did.
Yeah, so he should be the clear winner in the lightweight division. Moving on to the middleweight, really only one guy that jumped out to me, Clifton Holcomb, a shorter gentleman. Again, real full muscle bellies. He looked fantastic. In the light heavies, we had a couple of guys, John Mellinger, Anthony Schiaretta. We had Michael Rogel and Alfonso Castellana, who got put in the middle. Good condition on Alfonso, big wheels. I think we'll probably see him as the winner. In the heavyweights, two gentlemen that we interviewed yesterday, Chris DiDomenico and John Marks, should be the front runners. I have the heavyweight. John Marks is my favorite for the overall. What'd you think of John?
He was pretty well conditioned. I would have still liked to see a little bit more symmetry up. I think he was a little lower half heavy comparative. So I was kind of looking at that, and I would just like to see him bring up his chest, shoulders, and even the thickness in the back.
Yeah, now moving into the super heavies, now at the national level show, especially at the junior level show, super is usually the class where we really drop off as far as quality. For as disappointed as we are sometimes, it was just that much more today. Couple of guys in decent shape. Brent Swanson, really the only super heavyweight that stood out to me as somebody being ready for a national level show. Justin Stackhouse, good conditioning, upper body not as big as his legs. So, but again, men's bodybuilding altogether, kind of a lackluster show. We're going to kind of burn through the other divisions. Men's physique, not a lot of real standout guys to me, but the conditioning in men's physique, it was sad. As soon as Class A for men's physique came out, I said there are more guys conditioned in Class A for men's physique than there was across the board for bodybuilding. Anybody else in the men's physique divisions, A through E or F, stand out to you?
Actually, there was a few, very dead on. Gary, you actually did a great job. I was picking the ones that were 1, 2, and 3. We were kind of seeing that eye to eye. I can't remember their exact names, but I was placing them as they were coming out, and just overall there was something that distinguished them. One thing I do like is there was a couple guys that were more conditioned, like grainier, but overall aesthetics, looks, stage presence, huge deal. And like you said, these guys are coming in absolutely peeled. It's kind of making the bodybuilders scratch their head a little bit.
Yeah, that was definitely the case. Moving into some of the women's divisions, fitness, not a lot of girls that I saw in fitness that really jumped out at me. Definitely a junior level show for that. Figure, a couple of good girls. Bikini, kind of the same story. A couple of standouts in bikini, Ashley Everts, Mary Capano in bikini D, Miranda Davis in bikini B. Any bikini girls that really jumped out at you?
There was actually one in Class B and one in Class D. I think you actually named her in Class D. I can't remember her name, but she came out black suit, just absolutely stunning. Just walked out and just looked like she owned the stage.
And kind of the story of the show for me here this afternoon, and in the call-out was a little weird. I'm going to talk about the women's physique B division. Brooke Walker, to me, walked out, completely dominated that class, and as far as any division here in the show today, I think Brooke dominated. They didn't have her in the middle right away, and they didn't have her in the middle at the end. And to me, it was such a clear win. The only thing I can imagine is that they wanted to compare some of the other people, so they just kind of left her with wherever. Do you see anybody competing with Brooke?
Honestly, from the moment she walked out, like you said, clear winner across the board. I was a little puzzled. I was scratching my head. I think we kind of looked at each other back and forth like, wait a minute here. she needs to be moved over there. And then they brought her there and they moved her back out. So I think they were done actually judging her and just kind of seeing where 2, 3, and 4 stands. That's what I'm hoping, at least.
Yeah, and I've spoken with some judges, both NPC and IFBB, who say, hey, you know what? Sometimes what we want to do, if we have a clear winner, we'll push them off. They're not necessarily going to be in the center, because if we have 2 people we want to compare for second and third, it makes it easier not to have the first person in the center. So again, as far as pro potential at this show, some good bikini, some good figure. But the real story of Junior USA's in 2015 for me is Brooke Walker in the women's physique division. I think she can. I actually talked to Jose Raymond a little bit. He's working with her during prejudging when we had some breaks, and I said I think she's ready to jump right into a pro show, and I think we'll see her as the overall winner and a deserving one at that. But for now, we have a short break in between prejudging and the night show, so we're going to utilize that. We'll be back. Final start at 6 p.m. So guys, make sure to check back. See who the winners are, who's walking away tonight with the pro cards, and who's walking away looking for their next show to do. So we're gonna wrap it up for now. This is David Bay with IFBB Pro Steve Masharbish from the 2015 Junior USA Championships.